round 7 of 9 here at the Star City Games Regional Tournament hosted by Wasteland Gaming.
So we have both of these players keeping their opening 7s. We have Mo playing Jeskai and Daniel playing Blue-Green Company. Need to change that real quickly. Looks like Mo's going to fetch with a Flooded Strand. Life totals 19 to 21. Looks like a pretty standard list for Mo. He is playing 2 copies of Hushwing Grip in the main deck. That's a very interesting one. Don't see that too often. I don't think either of our Jeskai Mirror players from the last round were running those in their main deck. Yeah. At least not that we saw.
Hushing Griff is the Torpor Orb with wings. Creatures entering the battlefield do not cause abilities to trigger.
I like that, Torpor Orb with wings. So Jace here coming down for Mo on turn 2. Hypnotic Siren for Daniel. ×2, in fact.
Start building that blue devotion.
Absolutely. Also an Air Force to be reckoned with. Jace unable to block those, although he's more interested in drawing cards anyway.
True. Actually says some interesting things in Daniel's main list. He actually runs 4 Curious Followers, which is normally something we see in more of a combo-oriented deck to get those untap effects.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's just using it for value here.
I like that. Like, if you have enough devotion for Thassa, you can untap it, which seems very good, giving it the pseudo-vigilance effect. You get to pay 2, make it unblockable, untap it, block with it. If your opponent is not paying attention, you can catch them off guard. So Mo gonna Lightning Strike one of the Hypnotic Sirens, Scry, and I believe he kept it on top. He's gonna draw. I think that may have been a copy of Stormbreath Dragon.
Thassa in the early game is such a house. Being able to scry through the rest of your potentially many turns just nets you so much advantage.
Absolutely. Scrying, one of the best mechanics, at least in my opinion, Magic history.
Yeah. Which is why it's recently, since Magic Origins, become an evergreen mechanic. We no longer have to wait for a special set for Scry to come out. It can show up anytime and all the time.
I'm happy when I agree with the designers of the game, and in this case, it's no exception. So Daniel's resolving his upkeep Scry on Thassa. Mo just playing a land and passing the turn.
Couple cards in Mo's yard. Getting close to some Jace action soon.
Could see him.
Oh, there's the follower, as we mentioned before.
Absolutely. Nice full art game day promo. Looks like an attack for 1. Gonna bring Mo down to 17. Could see Mo end of turn loot, and then look to loot main phase, and perhaps flashback this Lightning Strike on the Curious Follower with the Jace -3, I believe?
Yes.
Yes.
-3 to give a card in your yard flashback, essentially.
Still thinking about what to discard. Looks like it was a copy of Stoke the Flames. Never good when your opponent's looting away 4 damage burn spells.
Looks like we're going to loot again, get that Jace activation. We're not too concerned of any answers here with only a single blue or green mana up.
Mo's still thinking about exactly what he is going to do with the Jace. He's also got several cards in hand looking to be serviceable for the near future. There's another copy of Flooded Strand for him. Gotta break that. Go to 16. I really enjoy playing with these fetch lands in Standard. We know how good they are in other formats, but in Standard even, just Fetching basic lands, still very good.
We have quite the selection of fun lands in Standard. Not only do we have 2 color gain lands, we have the enemy cycle of pain lands, we have the enemy wedge tri lands that all come tapped, the scry temples, now fetches. It's hard pressed to find a format more open to 3, sometimes even 4 color lists.
I agree.
At least in standard, a standard format.
I love that the tri-lands and scry-lands are available. I think they can make wonderful mana bases. So we do see the -3 flashback on Lightning Strike takes out Kiora's follower.
As predicted.
Here's another scry at the upkeep for Daniel. Gonna take that one to the bottom, though. Back goes the die on top of the library as a reminder to resolve the scry before going to draw step. See where this Hypnotic Siren is headed. Looks like it is going to go to Jace. He's going to go down to only 1 loyalty counter, and looks like a Harbinger of the Tides.
Harbinger of the Tides.
Yeah.
No bounce creatures to, or no tap creatures to bounce, but we're going to get that Devotion up. We have 4 Devotion to blue currently.
I believe that's correct.
So potential, pretty much any permanent in Daniel's deck is going to have a Thassa coming in. Or Thassa swinging in, I should say.
Yeah.
And so we had a plus Jace on the Tides. Keep that from coming in next
That makes
turn.
sense to me. I think we're going to see that Stormbreath Dragon. Yeah, there it is.
Ooh.
This is a card Mo's been waiting to play for a couple turns. He was one of the first cards he drew off of the Jace looting. It's going to take Daniel down to 17.
He's going to keep what he likes on top. Beautiful Zendikar Island.
I do like the Bull Island. Do you agree? Is that your favorite?
Mine's the stream, where it's the top view of all the islands. And
Ooh,
the water
I
moving
like that
through it.
one too.
Yeah, the Bull is definitely up there. They're all fantastic.
They're
Let's
all
be honest.
Very good, yes. I'm a big fan of the Junk Park lands. All of the cycle he did for that set, all of his basics are very, very good. So there we're going to see an Elemental turning on Thassa.
Yeah, good old Shore Crasher.
And looks like Thassa is going to try to take out Jace, and 1 damage coming in from Hypnotic Siren. Life totals 15 to 17.
Leaving that colors mana open to activate any of Shore Crasher's fanciful effects.
Of which there are many.
Yeah, most common is the let's flicker it, return it face down, blank any removal spell you would have.
I agree. The Aetherling-esque ability.
Water Courser type.
Yeah.
And it looks like we're reading those
We got a
multitudes. A reader.
Mo is just checking to make sure that that does work the way that he thinks it does. It's like another attack from the dragon.
It's going to be tough to race if that Thassa stays online.
I agree. He's going to have to do something about all of the devotions being presented here. There's a scry trigger once again. Does keep it. Coming to a close for a very long standard day here. We know that the fatigue is setting in. Players just being extra careful with their motions and their decisions. So this looks to be an attack for 5, 6, 7, and then we'll see what Shore Crasher ends up being by the time damage happens.
Now, we're 7 rounds deep into this tournament, and a lot of times you see people after this many hours of play maybe get a little grumpy, but I've noticed that today everyone's pretty much been in high spirits. There's a lot of fun decks being played. People are really hyped up. I mean, you guys saw that burn match we had earlier. Everyone was just on the edge of their seats as spells were flinging back and forth.
Both players pretty jovial as well. I was out there being the table spotter for that match, and all smiles. Looks like he's passing priority, perhaps. See if Mo has anything to say about this attack. Looks like he does, gathering up the mana for some sort of spell. Maybe a lightning strike.
Be my guess.
Yeah, mine as well. Yeah, lightning strike on the hypnotic siren, it would appear.
Okay.
Seems like that's going to resolve, and then
Maybe a follow-up to drop the devotion. No.
I think he's just
removed.
End of turn. Yeah,
He's
so
removing his
took,
blocker.
He took the 10 there and went to 5, and then yeah, he is just removing the blocker, looking to perhaps burn Daniel out. He's got a Jeskai charm in hand, so that's 8. He needs 5 more.
He may have been hoping for an untapped land there to get a monstrous. I think Daniel's got a couple. Looks like he's got a couple cards in hand.
It does look like he's got a couple cards in hand.
4 in the sky.
I'm being told one of them is a collected company, so
Ooh.
we could see a few more things added to the board. I don't know if Mo isn't going to be able to finish Daniel off this turn. It looks like Thassa's going to be able to get in there next turn, and that should be lethal. Maybe a slight mismanagement there of the life total. 5 is essentially the magic number when you're playing Thassa.
Solmgar Sorcerer?
I believe that is what that is. Flash 2/1 flyer. Thinking about blocking. Is going to block. Yeah, very safe.
Does it exploit counter a non-creature spell or a creature spell?
I believe it's any spell.
Okay.
Obviously, no spells on the stack, so just a flash jump blocker.
Flash jump.
Ambush Viper.
I think he's worried about the potential of 9 damage for the burn is a very real number.
Yes, I agree. I think if there were to be 2 removal spells coming down, this could become very difficult for Daniel. Yep. I'm gonna see it blinked here. This takes devotion down to only 3 pips.
5 mana, I believe, to flip the short card.
Oh, I believe that's a Master of Waves.
Ooh.
It may be just what the doctor ordered here. Yep. See if Mo has anything to say about this. Its devotion to blue would be 4 elementals coming in. So it will resolve. See if Mo has any answers up his sleeves to this onslaught Daniel is supplying.
Protection from red is going to be very relevant.
Yes, definitely.
Battle for 4.
It's going to drop Mo to 1. He says go. Do your worst. This Flooded Strand is effectively a dead card. Cannot crack it.
I think there's a Jeskai Charm in hand.
I believe he does have a copy of Jeskai Charm.
And he's going to scoop it up.
Yeah, not enough. I think his outs there are to draw one of his sideboard cards. You have to make a sequence of lifelink. My spells gain lifelink creature into Anger of the Gods and just gain as much as you possibly can and hope to survive.
Although Anger won't, it'll take out most of the board, but Thassa and the Master of Waves will stay on. But protection from red will keep them safe.
Correct.
So speaking of sideboard cards, as we're going to game 2 here, what do you think our players are going to be looking at from their lists?
Well, from the look of it, Mo has access to 1 Erase, 2 copies of Hallowed Moonlight, 2 copies of Glare of Heresy, 1 copy of Valorous Stance, 1 more Hushwing Gryph, 2 copies of Negate, 3 copies of Disdainful Stroke, and 3 copies of Seismic Rupture. So for this matchup, I I'm not sure exactly what he wants. Disdainful Stroke is not at its best, but it's still good. I don't know if it's better than some of the things that he's already playing.
It answers Collected Company. It answers Master of Waves. But Thassa and Shore Crash are just going to not care.
Certainly true. How about Daniel? What's he got access to in
We've
his
got
sideboard?
2 Display of Dominance, 2 Wall of Frost, oh lord, 4 Encase in Ice, 2 Negate, 2 Gainsay, 2 Clash of Wills, and 1 Disdainful Stroke.
I love Wall of Frost.
Wall of Frost
that's amazing.
is wonderful. I'm just happy to see it on a list, honestly. Here, I like the Negates. There's a lot of spells being sung. I really like the Gainsays.
I think Gainsay is very good here. Actually, kind of like Encase in Ice. I don't know if you bring all 4 in, but there's several cards like Stormbreath Dragon. You don't want it untapping. It's
okay.
we
I'll
could
take
just-
I'll
we
take
could
the
just
4
leave
and,
that
and
there.
that's enough.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think Mo is going to have the time to be monstrosing those Stormbreath Dragons.
He's gonna have to save his erases for like the Thassas instead of saving his own dragons.
Exactly. But yeah, going back to that, I do like the 1 copy of Erase. I think perhaps the Hushwing Griff comes in, just stopping Master Waves, stopping Harbinger of the Tides. Those are both really nice effects. Plus, being a flyer is not irrelevant.
No, not 2-1. 2-1 in the air is, as we saw before. Once you stop those sirens, he's pretty much open. Although Stratus Dancers are quite good.
Daniel does have a lot of 1/1 flyers that the Hushwing doesn't really match up well against. But if you ever get into a racing situation, you can really pull ahead with that.
How do you like the Hollowed Moonlight?
Hollowed Moonlight. I'm not a huge fan of that in this matchup.
It doesn't do a lot, but the things it does do I think are a little relevant. You can kind of get a little trixies with the Shore Crasher, because it stops anything from entering the battlefield that wasn't cast.
That is true.
You're going to delete all the tokens off Master of Waves in response, as well as the Collective Company, which can kind of come out of nowhere and really hit hard. I wouldn't necessarily say put as many as you can in, but cycling a card is at its worst okay, and the ability to blank 3 very real cards out of Daniel's deck I think is relevant.
Yeah, it looks like Mo is just opting for the 1 Erase as his only sideboard option, and Daniel is siding in Negates, Clash, and Encase in Ice.
Okay. Yeah, I guess the Gainsays are really only good against Jeskai Charm. The rest of the spells aren't actually splashing blue. They're mono red. Lightning Strikes, Stoke, yeah.
That's fair. So we're looking at some of the interesting one-ofs in Mo's list. He's playing a copy of Sarkhan the Dragon Speaker.
Oh lord, that is the spiciest of our planeswalkers, as we like to say here.
I certainly agree.
He's
two copies of actual dragons and 1 copy of Dragon Speaker.
The fun thing about Sarkhan is because he is a non-creature when you cast him as a planeswalker, he will trigger prowess, which is relevant for the 3 Seeker of the Ways in Mo's deck. And then he turns on, when he becomes a dude, he actually turns on Ferocious, which isn't necessarily relevant in this deck, but it's kind of fun that Sarkhan does so many of the mechanics from cons. He also has haste when he turns into dragon, so you're probably triggering a raid. He kind of hits all levels, and he can be delved away if he's in your graveyard, so, there's another one.
Perfect full circle design. Kudos to WotC.
Doesn't have Outlast. They felt that was a little too much for a mono red planeswalker. Four out of 5.
They missed
good
an
enough.
opportunity.
They really did.
It's okay though. Card's gonna be good enough as a 4/4 haste, or just another 4 damage burn spell to one of the creatures on Daniel's side of the board. Looks like Daniel is keeping his 7, and Mo is looking for 6.
Mo won the draw here. Going to 6, not too painful, but you always want to go with the opening 7.
I believe he's got the option to play or draw.
He has the choice.
And he is going to go to 5. I think I only saw planes Yep, that is confirmation. He's going to 5 cards. Very unfortunate for him, especially if he did choose to go on the play, which we suspect he probably did.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I misspoke earlier. I'm sorry. Yeah, he in a burn deck, he's probably going to be wanting to play because you have to decide whether you're going to play or draw before you actually go to Mullis.
That is correct. And if you haven't made the decision is made for you.
Yeah.
You are playing.
You are playing.
Yeah.
That is the default. This is a competitive level tournament. There's no backsies here.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at Mo's 5 here. We'll see if he chooses to keep it. Can't imagine too many worlds where you want to go to 4.
A better 4.
Yeah, this deck relies on burn spells. Magic number is usually to keep your 7.
Looks like he had a fair number of lands in there. I think I saw a reef. We're going to see a Curious Follower from Daniel here. Kind of just set up. He's kind of in a better position to maybe go a little risky, play some stuff without some backup mana. He knows Mo is down on cards.
Mm-hmm. Mo going to fetch, take 1. Find himself a copy of Plains. Okay. Daniel also threatening next turn to start the Collected Company shenanigans. Get the train moving, up his devotion to blue.
Yeah, we could with
puff his chest out a little.
Oh, absolutely. With a good Collected Company, you could hit a Thassa, you hit a Short Crash Elemental. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, you have a 5/5 Indestructible God slamming in. Ooh.
Turn 3 Mantis Rider. That's a reasonable start for Mo. I think his best openings are 2-drop into 3-drop, but the Mantis Rider, not an easy one to deal with for Mullins. He's going to have to take a pain to cast the card. So we have life totals at 18 to 17. And look, hey, there's your buddy Short Crasher. And mana open, just in case.
Yeah. Fun little thing. A lot of people really like Short Crasher just because he's got that triple blue. He pumps up your devotion. He works really well with Master Waves, being an elemental himself. So he's actually going to get that buff from Master of the Waves as well. We're going to see a second Mantis Rider.
Oh, my. This is actually a very good 5 from Mo. He's hit his first 4 land drops, and he's also taken only minimal pain from his lands and dealt maximum pain to Daniel's face.
He's in a very good position.
Daniel's got to find some sort of air force to stop these 3/3s with Vigilance from crashing in. Puns always intended. Looks like Daniel did take 1 from his land last turn, activating the Yavimaya Coast. So he's actually at 10 life, slightly more precarious than 11, because the attack from 6 that's impending would put him within 1 burn spell of dying.
Yeah, Jeskai Charm, Stoke the Flames.
Absolutely.
Either one. Exquisite Firecraft. I'm not sure if he's running Exquisite Firecrafts in his main or on the side.
I am searching, and I do not see them. Side or main.
Oh no, only 8 instead of 12 spells. That could just finish him off.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like 4 copies of Stoke, 2 copies of Jeskai Charm, and some 3 and 2 damage burn spells. So no copies of Exquisite Firecraft.
Looks like we're going to see an attack here from Short Crasher.
I like this attack.
Yeah.
It's not doing anything on D. You might as well get in there. I don't think Mo's actually going to block.
His flyers
are much more valuable in the air.
I think he
just drew a copy.
I think we're going to see a Collected Company here.
Yeah, if this doesn't hit, Daniel is just going to die. Because I'm pretty sure Mo drew... Yep, he does have a copy of Stoke the Flames. So if there's not a flying blocker in this top 6...
He has at least 12 flyers, it's looking like.
Yeah, he should find something.
11.
Silumgar Sorcerer...
Hypnotic Siren, Stratus Dancer.
There's a sorcerer.
Okay.
He's got. Okay, so he's got reasonable effects here. He's gonna block 1. Just jump. But add some pressure to the ground as well with the Harbinger of the Tides. Looks like we've got 14 to 9 here on the life totals. And then 14 to 6 after combat damage here. Wonder if Mo's going to take this opportunity to just resolve his... No, he's just going to pass it back. We'll see what Daniel's got. Another Yavimaya Coast to start.
Not the source of green you really want to see here.
No, certainly not. Getting dangerously low when sitting across from a burn deck. These Mantis Riders doing a lot of work. Well positioned, I think, for a tournament like this. Lots of people bogging up the ground with large and small green creatures, manifest, morphs, things like that.
Yeah.
Why not ride over in style on a Mantis?
Oh, absolutely. Just jump over all those little elves, all those little caryatids. You know, trees with many colors of mana are nice, but 3 in the sky every turn seems good.
Yeah, and he's no slouch because he does double duty, does blocking duty as well as attacking. Lightning Angel-esque. Here's a Stratus Dancer.
Get some more flyers, okay.
Just straight up. Looking to be a chump blocker here. And there's an attack with all of his ground creatures. I kind of like this attack from Daniel. You put Mo in a spot where you challenge him to block. And if he does, there's only a minimal payoff. And if something goes wrong, it could go very wrong for him. Yeah, it looks like he's going to call Daniel's bluff, just eat 2 and take 3.
Looks like we're going to take a green here.
Oh, no, I don't believe that was tapped for...
negate.
Ah, I see. So we have life totals 10 to 6.
Oh, and there's a...
Oh, a third Mantis Rider. Oh, my.
Well,
oh, my.
If you're going to start the game with 5 cards...
That was a lot of riders.
A lot of riders.
A lot of Mantises.
Now, he runs 4 Mantis Riders in his deck, correct?
I believe he does. Yes, he does.
Okay.
That is correct.
Woo!
Going to game 3. Very interesting.
Yeah. Quite the comeback. Well, not even a comeback, really. Comeback from 5, but the whole game was Mantis.
An impressive...
An impressive
mulligan
5.
to 5, yeah. He had exactly what he needed in an impressive aerial assault. It started on turn 3, and it never really relented. Daniel unable to deal with any of those Mantis Riders.
A lot of players sometimes get a little disheartened when they have to mull below 6. And, you know, let this be a lesson to you guys. Like, you can win a game off 4.
I think...
You can definitely win on 5.
Definitely. I think in Wasteland coverage history, a player on 5 has lost 1 out of 4 matches, I think.
Yeah, we've actually had quite the matches.
I think most of the people who have ended up mulliganing on coverage for us have actually ended up winning. And I think that's a testament to disciplined mulliganing, making sure that you analyze your hands properly and not just keeping lands and spells. Because if you have the wrong spells or the wrong lands, sometimes you don't get there.
Yeah. To be fair, lands and spells has actually won every Pro Tour.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but you're missing my point.
No, I agree with you 100%.
Sure. Player's going to shuffle up. Daniel has the option to go first. Should take it.
We're waiting for that manaless dredge to win a Pro Tour.
Oh, man.
Just so we can say just spells. Or if they ever do oops, all spells.
Oops. Don't have any lands. Sorry.
Oops, all spells is in fact one of my favorite legacy decks.
Is it close enough if something like Belcher wins? They only have 1 or 2, maybe.
They can side it out.
Yeah, they don't even need to play the land. They don't even need it.
They don't need it.
Who needs lands? Out. That's silly.
I'm gonna reveal the next 40 cards in my deck. Is any of a mountain? No.
We can go the other end and say the
lands.
all lands.
The all lands?
Yeah. How about them apples?
I think that's my second favorite legacy deck. Just both ends of the spectrum. Turn 2 Marriott Lodge is always nice.
Oh, yes. I believe you can turn 1 it in that deck, too.
Yeah, if you can reveal enough to get a Vampire Hex Mage, you can do some crazy stuff. The Thespian Sage and Vesuva combo is always just great.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Gotta love it here. Players shuffling up for our deciding game 3. We are in round 7 of Standard here at the Regionals Tournament, Star City.
hosted by Wasteland Gaming.
Absolutely. Players are going to draw their opening hands. We'll see if they elect to keep them. Maybe one of the advantages mulliganing to 5 is that you only have one line.
Yeah.
This
is my plan.
This is quite literally the hand I've been dealt.
This is the hand
and
I've
I
been
must
dealt.
play it as such. Yeah. Mo got a bunch of Mantis Riders, and they did a lot of work for him. So both players kept 7.
Now Daniel played that I think very well, but some people might get a little greedy. Oh, my opponent's at 5. I can kind of take a back foot. I can kind of relax.
Oh no!
Not against Jeskai Mantis Riders.
Not
you can't.
All
right, we got a turn 2 Curious Follower.
Second verse, same as the first. Seeker
Seeker
of the
way.
Way. So both players off to good starts here. Daniel, access to 4 mana with a Curious Follower's untap ability. See what he chooses to play.
Morph.
A Morph. Likely to be Shore Crasher or perhaps Stratus Dancer.
Stratus.
Yeah.
I feel Shore Crasher normally comes in face up. Because he costs so much to unmorph.
I agree.
But he could be going for some next level plays here.
So this is almost certainly a Stratus Dancer.
Fetch lands.
$19s a piece. See what Mo has up his sleeve. If he smells the Stratus Dancer, he's probably just going to kill it before it has the chance to counter something more important like a Dig Through Time or a 4 damage burn spell, especially if he has access to a Wild Slash here. He can represent a counter spell as well. Oh, it looks like he's going to take a pain. Is this a Mantis Rider? Oh, it is the Rider of Mantises.
3 in the sky. The Bug Jockey.
Once again, turn 3 Mantis Rider for Mo. Looking good against Blue-Green Company. Daniel finding himself in a similar spot to the last game. Let's see what he's got up his sleeve here. Encase in Ice. That's going to tap that man down and not let him ever untap. Not ever.
Ever.
Because he's red.
Ever again. Now say you're Mo, and you draw your 1 copy for race right now. Are you going to try to save your Mantis Rider? Are you hoping against one of the 3 Thasas that Daniel's got running?
Looks like the trade was offered. To answer your question, I believe most assuredly that I'm going to get rid of that Encase in Ice.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to be able to keep Daniel off of Thassa. He's got too many of them in his deck. And
especially with Collected Company.
Answering his permanence instead of going on a proactive game plan seems like a losing recipe to me. He needs to be aggressive so that those burn spells are worth something, because the burn spells are not good when he's behind. You don't want to point burn spells at 2/2s and 1/1s that are beating you down.
Did he just... Oh, that was a land in tapped for the turn.
Yeah, so Temple of Triumph and then Jace.
Okay. I was about to say, Jace doesn't cost 3.
So here's a Master of Waves looking to make 3 tokens. 3 tokens, please.
Currently 2 1s.
From the Master Wave ability. Looks like an attack for 4. I'm being told that Daniel has a second copy of Master of Waves in his hand. If he can set that up, this game is not going to take long.
Is that lethal next turn?
Let's
2,
see.
4, 6,
See what
3,
this is here.
6, 9.
This is a dragon? This is definitely a dragon.
Storm Breath.
That's a reasonable one to try to race with here.
It's going to leave it back.
Yeah, not attacking. Not attacking. Very interesting.
Yeah, I think he's worried about... There's very good potential for a huge swing here.
Yeah, especially if there is a second master, this is going to be tons of damage. A second pump for each of those tokens, making them 3/2s.
3/2s. The first master wave is completely free to attack in. He either kills... Oh, there it is.
Yep.
He either kills Jace, or he's going to
Oh my.
get through.
This is going to make 4, counting itself and the previous. So here comes an attack. Looks like for 11, if no blocks are made.
9, 11.
Block one of those.
Can't block the master. Protection from red.
That is correct.
He's going to throw Jace
Like,
under the bus.
looks like Jace is going to, block and do his looting thing. See if we can improve the quality of our hand a teeny tiny little bit. I think it's done so. He's going to draw a burn spell and discard this Battlefield Forge.
Yeah, once you've started casting your Stormbreath Dragons, you're not too concerned with drawing land.
Should be 6 damage here. Dropping mode to 8. He's going to need a lot to get out of this, and most of his answers are actually still red. So it's going to be difficult to get 1 master off the field. 2 is a very
Anger
tall
of the
order.
Gods will clean up. It will reduce it down to just the 2 masters, which is only a 4 damage swing in.
He's really only got this 1 turn window. I think that may have been a copy of Anger. We'll see what he actually did draw. Anger still leaves him a little bit vulnerable to these master waves riding on in.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a way to block them.
But
And he does only have this 1 turn window, assuming that the morph on Daniel's side is the Stratus Dancer.
I'm not sure if he has anything else in his list that can help here. And hostilities, but I don't know if he's actually running it.
Looks like we missed a pain from casting the dragon. It doesn't have a second red source besides the Sheevan Reef. So it's actually 7 to 16.
Even scarier.
Even scarier, indeed.
And that looks like that's going to be a concession.
Yeah, so Daniel Mullis is going to win our 7th round feature match with Blue Green Company over Jeskai.
We've seen that list do very well in the feature match all day today.
We've had another gentleman in our backup feature match twice already. I believe he won both of those matches.
Yeah, he is currently undefeated on camera. And I believe undefeated in the tournament, at least as of the beginning of this round.
At the beginning of this round, yeah. Probably getting to that point where there will be some intentional draws made, locking up their top 8 spots.
Yeah, with only 2 rounds left, all the 7-0 players are almost guaranteed in. Especially if they end up going 7-0-2, it's going to be hard pressed to knock them out of top 8.
Definitely agree. Interesting sideboard strategy from Daniel. We'll see more of him, I'm sure, to come in the tournament. But for right now, we are going to sign off for round 7. And we will see you back in round 8.
Thanks again for listening.